Harvestella is the newest RPG to make its way out of Square Enix's doorstep, developed by Livewire, who have previously worked on Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights, another game with Quietus as a concept. With the shared concept of Reign of Death, Harvestella combines RPG with farming simulation akin to series such as Harvest Moon and Rune Factory, leaning on Rune Factory's combat to give the game a bit more energy than your sedentary farming sim. But is the combo a good mix? Harvestella starts with a short cutscene as we make our protagonist and get dropped into a dark and somber locale that has falling tufts of darkness. This quietus is a main event within the game's lore, which is explained to us by the village doctor, Cress. Whoever it touches falls into a deep slumber and eventually death, but not us. As the amnesiac protagonist, we are protected against such harshness, though in payment we must now explore the worlds, meet a colourful array of characters, and recover our lost memories. There are certainly no themes of time travel, alternate realities, or dream states at play. No siree. Harvestella's story is mostly explored via the RPG and combat side of affairs. As we work our way through several chapters, we investigate the crystals that produce the seasons and figure out what is tampering with them. The farming side of the game brings with it little to no story at all, mostly just giving you fairies from completing story chapters to make farming easier. Your first run of Harvestella will last around 50 hours, depending on how much time you spend on your farm and side missions. There's also the case of optional dungeons, collectibles, friendships and more to bump those rookie numbers up to almost double that. Multiple playthroughs can be warranted, as you can play the game with varying classes or choose other characters to focus your attention on. However, a lot of your choices or branching paths come toward the end of the game, so generally a full playthrough only nets you some different dialogue along the way during conversations. Harvestella is half action RPG, half farming simulator. If you want to experience the story, as stated previously, you'll have to focus on the RPG side of things. You move around in a normal 3D environment and can swap between 3 classes on the fly, changing your set at save points. Each class has a main attack and up to 4 skills to use in combat, though everything takes varying amounts of stamina to use. Stamina is recovered over time as long as you've got some food in your stomach, whereas cooked meals can recover a set percentage of stamina on consumption. With every action taking stamina, outside of normal walking, you'll be juggling food and drink as you try to maintain the ability to do anything of substance. With said stamina and classes, you'll be fighting monsters within exterior and interior dungeons, ranging from normal deers to goblins and crabs. Alongside the normal enemies are fears, elite foes with higher stats that require a lot more planning to take down. Fears and bosses also allow the player to engage with the break system, where you hit one of 4 weaknesses each enemy has, and after enough hits you break them, dealing more damage with following hits. If you do 2 adjacent breaks, you can unleash partner skills, from Emo's Party Heal to Arya's Beam Blasts. The farming side of Harvestella is rather similar to any other farming sim in this genre. You plant fruits and veg, water them over a few days, and then harvest the rewards. You can ferment and juice your produce to gain higher profits or to use as ingredients in better meals for combat. Your farm will later unlock water and cave biomes, allowing for specified crops that don't need tending. Unlike other farming sims, you don't have any debts to pay or any deadlines for farming. You'll mostly be using your profits to expand your farm or buy pens for animals, though all of these upgrades are set in place, the farm not being customizable aside from where you place your fermenting barrels and other objects. The music within Harvestella is rather calming and fitting to the areas you'll find yourself within. However, the game does overuse the concept of keeping the area music for combat when you're introduced to new dungeons. It has a great track for the Tower of Illusion and some good boss music, but other than that, no track really stood out to me. Moving from music to sound, I hate the voice acting in this game, if you can call it that. Harvestella features almost no voice acting, with all dialogue being just text for you to read. Instead, the game features greeting and battle quotes. While some of the bosses have amazing vocal performances in combat, the fairies are so mind-numbing and annoying that I and many other players have relented to muting the game. They are designed to sound like toddlers who are both sick and tired, with raspy voices full of air and boredom. Until you use their abilities in the farm, when they spam their voice lines over and over. You can't lower the occurrence of these lines, so it's either all or nothing. Harvestella is designed in such a way that you can take it at your own pace, like many other farming simulators that lack deadlines. You can amass a fortune of money via farming before going out on a role-playing romp across the world, or you can almost forget that farming exists and just play the RPG. Even when characters are in danger, you can leave them for a whole season whilst you prepare. This ease of play affects the difficulty quite a bit, as you can build up quite a big stock of food and drink to heal you in the dungeons. Fear enemies will eat through your supply of healing items, so a prepared adventurer can take on ones far above their level, while those who want to rush will find a hard challenge ahead. While the overall feel of the game is enjoyable and fun, the detachment of the two halves can give quite a jarring contrast. Someone can be kidnapped or dead, yet you're allowed to just not help them. This is made weirder when characters will look like they are rushing in dungeons, when you slept for a week for some crops to grow. The game is also overly simple. There are no advanced farming tactics aside from unlockable skills to speed it up. You cannot edit the farm in any fashion, and there is virtually no character customization out of 2 body types, 2 hairstyles, and a handful of hair and eye colours. This is kind of inexcusable when your class changes your clothes in the dungeons. This simplicity is also prevalent in the RPG aspects. You cannot edit your stats, there are no different weapons or armor, and you cannot control your companions at all. All you have is 2 rings to grant some bonuses to your damage and health, while your companions auto-level with you and stand around until you hit something, even if you or they are hit. It would have felt so much better to have some form of gambits from Final Fantasy XII, or minor AI tweaks like that in the Tales of series. If you're looking for a game with a lot of customizability and advanced control, then Harvestella is not going to be for you. It is a simple game through and through. The number of systems you cannot edit makes the game feel rather confined, outside of combining the rings and friendship bonuses to help certain classes. Overall, Harvestella gets a 7 out of 10. It is a very fun game that nails that calming farming simulator lifestyle with some adventure thrown in. However, the RPG aspects fall apart after enough playtime is thrown in to show how bare bones it is. The lack of voice acting makes it hard to grow attached to any characters, while battle quotes are overused and grating. There are a few glitches here and there with one crash from my playtime, but the game is generally stable. Thank you for watching this review of Harvestella. If you want more Harvestella content, you can look at the other videos on this channel. Or if you want some more gaming journalism and news, you can go to Envision Game Community.